Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how are you doing today? What we're going to be talking about is what people are seeing and experiencing in everyday life when it comes to being of the prepared mind. I get pictures and emails and videos, and if you would like to do so, my email is in the description box below. First, I need to address a few things. I've been getting comments saying that I'm stumbling on my words. I don't know what I'm talking about. First of all, I'm not stumbling. I'm extremely overwhelmed with everything that's been going on and trying to keep up with everything. The next thing, when I get comments from people saying, and all of this is coming from some lady who's sitting in her pantry. I'm not sitting in my pantry. I'm in my dining room. My dining room is, yes, it is stocked with food because I have a large family. When you have a family of 8 and when you build your house 19 years ago, and all they give you is a small little, like a 3-foot pantry by 8 foot, that's not really going to accommodate a family of 8. So yes, we have shelving and we have food on that shelving. Okay? Third thing, it's not very nice when you have the balls to say to me that I'm fat. That's none of your friggin' concern. Okay. Yes, I know that I'm overweight. Yes, I am working on it. No, I do not sit here and overeat. Yes, I am active. Okay. I have something called hypothyroidism. Okay. So while you can sit behind your keyboard and be a keyboard warrior and think that you could say whatever the hell you want, okay, just know that I am a human being as well. And your words are not okay. All right? So, I am under doctor's care. And you, sir, I'd like to see what you look like. Okay, so until you look like, I don't know, Brad Pitt or, somebody else who's in tip-top shape, shut up. Okay, thank you. So, on to this first email that I received from a community member. And she said, not only does Oak Ridge house nuclear stuff, we here in East Tennessee have a lot to worry about. You see, Eastman Chemical is here in Kingsport, so is Holston Ammunition. I pray and worry for all of our safety. Autumn, thank you for all the information that you get out. You are so very much appreciated. Well, thank you. You are very much appreciated to me as well. She said, tell everyone to stand firm and pray, help one another. Only through God will we make it through all of this. Yes, I agree with you very much. I agree with you very, very much. And thank you very much for your email. Now, this email comes in from a community member. And she said, do with this as you see fit. Again, I don't want to put a target on your channel. Just watched your video about the rail cars in California. Yeah, I'm not the only one that's covering this. It's getting a little too concerning for a lot of people that live in California, especially the ranchers. She said, ding, 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 potatoes in Europe and Giggles isn't in DC. Who shows up at the big white building? Can anyone say gruesome Newsome measuring for drapes? Maybe, but I don't think so. Possibly a meeting with the people actually in charge, brokering a deal to screw the people of his home state in exchange for not-so-round office. Working on a deal for another kaboom, and then he saves the day. Cleaning out the city being mentioned that gets their water from that area. The Amish farmland is being poisoned and the government can declare it a toxic site in order to condemn it and gain control. A huge growing area eliminated. Can't just take it over like they did in Ireland and in the Netherlands. Is this what's planned for the area in your video? I don't know. I don't know. This could be a false flag. It could be anything. No one truly knows until something is set off. No one knows. And I don't want to sit here and speculate and assume and say, you know, I can't do that. I can't do that. And I don't want to say, watch out, warning, warning, warning. I don't want to do that because I don't want people to get paranoid or scared. You know, see, that is what is happening here. A lot of people are getting paranoid. A lot of people are panicking and they're getting scared. Their anxiety level is rising. And I'm getting emails every single day. People are sending me pictures saying, what is this? Is this a drone? What is this in the sky? And I'll look at the pictures, and my husband will look at the pictures. My son will look at the pictures, and they'll say, hon, I don't know what that is. Mom, I don't know what that is. And then here, come to find out, what it was it was a picture of a planet that you could see from the ground. I want to say it was Jupiter. You could finally see Jupiter even during the day. And it was not a drone. And she got so upset. And I was like, oh, honey, calm down, you know. But yeah, so it was what the picture that she had sent me, it was actually Jupiter. And so the planets were actually, they aligned and you could see it from the ground. Yeah, so that's all it was. And I had hoped that I could calm her down. So she said, we are in an area that is downwind. God help us all. Take care and be safe. Well, thank you, sweetheart. You take care and you be safe, you know, because I think that's all we really have to focus on right now is coming together as a community and being there for each other. Even if it's just an email away, a phone call away, a text message away. And, you know, if you ever have a question or hey, do you know what this is? You know, email me. I'm always here, you know, because I think it's very, very important that we are here for each other at this point in time. Even if you just need to, you know, you want to just scream and cry, and I understand that. I'm here, you know. Don't ever think that you are alone. Don't ever think that you're alone, okay? Time for a commercial break. Okay, here is a video that was sent to me by a community member, and this is in Ohio, talking about what's going on when it rains and turns to snow, and you're going to see what is going on with a gentleman's pickup truck. It's a red pickup truck, and what's happening with the paint on his pickup truck. Take a look.
So I live like 40 miles west of this derailment, and it rained last night. It turned to snow today, or whatever this might be. Anyways, I noticed these bubbles on my truck. It's not ice. Look at that. Whatever that shit is taking the clear coat right off my truck. Ohio.
Okay, here is some pictures of a map. I was told this map is free range, and it's a globe, okay, you know, and it's the first one is of the United States, okay, and then you start to see the second one, and it's got like push pins on it, okay, and this is, you'll start to see like, okay, the explosions, the train derailments, all right, things like that, all right. And the third one is up close, so you'll actually be able to see up close, all right. So take a look at these pictures. So now here is a video that was sent to me by a community member, and if you know who Mike Adams is, okay, I very much like Mike Adams. He's from Natural News, And this video is about the severity of the fallout from in Ohio from the derailment. Okay, take a listen.
I'm showing a molecule of vinyl chloride. It contains hydrogen, carbon, and chlorine. That's it. Just those three elements. Vinyl chloride is what was on the trains. It's considered an industrial waste, but not an insanely toxic waste product. You can deal with vinyl chloride. You can, you can put it into tanker cars and you can deal with it. You can incinerate it somewhere else in a proper hazardous waste facility. That's what was on the trains. When they set fire to it, and I learned this from Eric Coppolino, who's going to be joining us, when they set fire to it, and I've confirmed this, I have EPA documents confirming this, they created this molecule in the fire, which is on the right. This is the most toxic molecule ever created by man. It's 2378 TCDD. It's one dioxin of a class of dioxins. And you'll notice that oxygens are inserted into the center of this molecule. It has the carbons, the hydrogens, and now chlorine on both ends. 4 chlorine atoms, and that creates armor. In essence, a chemical armor where this molecule is practically indestructible like Teflon. This molecule is a disruptor of every system in the human body.
So it doesn't break down like radiation?
It will not break down. It doesn't have a half-life like radiation. It is considered a persistent bioaccumulative toxin. That's called the PBT by the EPA. Persistent means it doesn't go away. Bioaccumulative means that it accumulates up the food chain. It falls on the grass. Grass is eaten by the cows, goes into the cow fat cells. It ends up in the milk, the cheese, the meat, the eggs, and so on. And then as a toxin, it interferes with everything. Fertility. It causes cancer. It causes spontaneous abortions, deformities. Just let me repeat. When they set fire to the vinyl chloride, they turned it into a chemical weapons factory that unleashed TCDD. And then they called this a controlled burn, which is a lie. It's not a controlled burn. It was a chemical factory, a chemical bomb on America, an act of ecological terrorism.
And there were, in fact, 5 cars of polyvinyl chloride, 4 cars of PVC pellets, and 5 of vinyl chloride monomer. And they all burned or were burned. And the problem with that is that, among many, many, many problems, is that they were burning in the presence of other fires in cars containing things like wheat and metal and frozen vegetables. And so when other substances burn in the presence of any chlorine fire, this increases the amount of dioxin because you're making the hydrocarbons available as well as the chlorines available. So even a little bit of chlorine in a big any hydrocarbon fire will produce the dioxins. So this is by far, look, this is not really measurable, but I know most of the history of dioxin going back, and I'm going to talk about that history in a moment because I've got a 1956 Monsanto document. But I can't think of a worse dioxin release than this one.
This is, I mean, you and I both are calling for the total evacuation of East Palestine
Yes.
right now. It should happen immediately. And if it does not happen, Eric, what are we looking at in terms of children that are going to be born over the next several years? Because I've read in studies that this will alter pregnancies in a mother 20 years after exposure. What are we looking at in the next 2 years?
Well, even if it's not evacuated, even if it is evacuated, we have a problem because the people have been exposed to so much there, and most of them don't really understand the peril that they're in. They do not really understand the nature of this chemical. But we're looking at multi-generational effects. We're looking at women who cannot have children, and we're looking at spontaneous abortions, pretty much in everyone who's pregnant now, and potentially everyone who becomes pregnant.
And now for a commercial break. And here is a video that is from Ohio, okay? And this man is a chemical engineer, and he's talking about Ohio and what happened there. And if you listen to the interviewer and the questions that he's asking, it's eye-opening. It really, truly is, okay? So I'm going to put up some screenshots for you first, all right? Because I want you to look at his jacket, okay? Right here, his jacket, and the name that's on the jacket, okay? And I just want you to pay attention, okay? And then watch the video, okay? Here you go.
You were the guy that made all the decisions. Would you have done a controlled burn? Well, there's the lie. It wasn't a controlled burn, it was an uncontrolled burn. See, I'm a chemical engineer as well as a top health and safety guy. I've got undergraduate and graduate degrees in chemical engineering.
You're the first actual expert that we've gotten to speak to. In your opinion, why do you believe that it was an uncontrolled burn? Why are you using that terminology when so far everywhere else we've seen that it was a controlled burn?
You can go to a place called West Liverpool downriver, and that's where they burn hazardous waste. And in a hazardous waste situation, they very carefully control the temperature and the amount of oxygen so that they get complete combustion, right? It's time, temperature, and amount of the air-fuel ratio. There's no controlling of the amount of air that gets in it. That's why you saw all that soot. So it's not a controlled burn, because a controlled burn would have to be like in a furnace or in your car or some system where you control the fuel, in other words, the vinyl chloride and the amount of oxygen. So they didn't do that. So it's an uncontrolled burn. One of the worst ways to determine exposure in general is to smell it, because if you smell the odor, guess what? You're already exposed, right? How long have you been doing this? 30 years. I'm in most of the big named lawsuits as the exposure expert. It's a privilege. I get called in to try to figure some of this stuff out. So that's my job always, is what really happened, you know?
All right, guys, that's all for this video. I will see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fear less. Ciao.